Hey kids! So this week we learned 4 new characters and did a review over 2 characters. And as usual, we are going to start this week's review with our stroke. The stroke we are going to look at this week is 横折钩. 横折钩. 横折钩is just like the 横折钩we learned in 月, the moon, 月. This one is the taller version of 横折钩, where the vertical stroke in 折 is way longer than the horizontal stroke of 横. Okay, so let's begin our practice. First, you write a 横, left to right, and then 折 turning direction, and this time the vertical stroke is much longer than the horizontal one, and then go or hook in the end. Again, 横, left to right, 折, top to bottom, and go or hook in the end. Okay, we're doing this review to set up for the character we're going to practice, and the first one is 门, door, 门, door. So what's the stroke order of 门? First, you write the dot, the 点 on the top left corner, and then you write the vertical 竖 under 点. Then you write the 横折钩 as the last stroke of 门. Now pay attention here that 门 is supposed to be wide, just like a door frame. Not only because you need it to look like a door, 门 is also called a 部首. What is a 部首? 部首 is an element that is very common in other characters. So 门 not only is a character itself, it's also a 部首. So it is an element that you can see in many other characters, like the one we are going to practice next, 问, asking or question. As you can see, 问 is just adding the 口, mouth, we learned from previous week, and added inside of 门, the door. And there are other possible combinations like this one. First, you write a 门, a dotted 点, and then a 竖, vertical line, 横折钩, and then you add a 人, person, people, or mankind inside of this character. This character is called 闪, shining, or what you see in Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, 一闪一闪. So blinking, shining, glittering. 闪电, lightning, also uses this character 闪. There are other characters like replacing the 人, person, or people with a sun, 日. We have 间, 中间的间, in the middle, 中间. And there are many more other examples that I will not go over all of them today. So let's continue. 门, first you write the 点, the dot, and then 竖, the vertical stroke, and then on the right side of 点 is the 横折钩. Now let's look at 问. The order of the stroke, just like what I wrote here in other examples, we write 门, the door, first. Here you write 门 first. So again, 点竖横折钩. To write 门, and then you write what's inside of 门, inside of the door. And in this case, for 问, question or asking, you write the 口, the mouth, because when you ask questions, you need your mouth. So here you write the mouth 口 instead of 门, the door. Do you remember how to write 口? First, you write the 竖 on the left, and then you write the 横折, and then you finish off 口 with a 横 from left to right. Okay, again, first you write the 门 outside, 点竖横折钩, and then you write what's inside the 口. First you write the 竖, and then 横折, and then 横. So this character is 问, asking or a question. Now let's move on to the next character. The next character is what's inside of 闪, 人, person, people, or mankind. Pay attention here that in 闪, the 那 in 人 becomes a 点, a dot, so become a shorter stroke. And this is also common in other characters when you put 2 or more characters together. The 那 usually become a 点 to save more space in a way. So let's quickly do the review of 人, person, people, or mankind. 人 only have 2 strokes, a 撇 and a 捺. Here, Here, na is not exactly in the middle, it's a little bit to the top. Na, right? Again, 撇 and then na. After you practice 人, it's set up for the next character that we learned this week. 个, 个. 个 is like a unit of counting. 一个两个 something is just like a unit or 2 unit of something. There's other character that can use as a measurement, like 一张纸, a piece of paper. In this case, 张 is like a piece of something. Or 一片叶子, a leaf. In this case, 片 is like a piece as well. You can say 一个两个人, so one or two person, and this 个 is just acting as a counting unit. 个 is like a unit of something. And when you're writing 个, you can see here the 人 is on the top. But it's a little bit different, because when you're writing 人, it's not exactly in the middle, it's a little bit to the top as well. But in 个, na is almost starting from the top of the 撇 in 人. Okay? So it looks like a hat over the 树 in the middle. And the order of the stroke, you also write 人 first. 人 first. So first you write the 撇 on the left, just like in 人. You still need to leave some space, but barely any. And then you write the na at the top. Okay? And then you write the 树 in the middle, below the 人. This character is called 个. 一个两个, a unit, a counting unit. 个. Okay, so let's do it again. First, you write the 人, a 撇 on the left, the na on the right. Na starting at the very top of 撇, and then you write 树 in the middle, below the 人. So this is an example of adding one single stroke to become a new character. And in this case, 人 acts as a 部首 in 个 as well. So this is an element of other characters. For example, in 伞, umbrella, 伞, you have 人 on the top, and then you have some other stroke that does not really make another character at the bottom. And as you can see, actually looks like an umbrella. Okay, now let's move on to the next character, 木. The review from last week, 木, wood or tree. Okay, so in 木, we first write the 十, 10, inside of 木. In this case, 十 is not really a 部首, it's just a 横 and then a 竖, which you can see in many other characters, even like 伞. First you write the 横 not too long, and then you write the 竖 top to bottom. And then at the intersection, you write a 撇 on the left and then a na on the right. Again, 横, and then 竖, then 撇, and then na. Okay, it's worth noting that 木 is actually a 部首, so it acts as an element for other characters. When you're writing 木 as a 部首, you typically turn the na in 木 to a 点, a dot, so you can save space to write other characters. For example, in 树林, 林, you write two mu's together. So in order to write the mu on the right, you need to save some space, right? So you turn the na here into a 点. So two mu's together is 林, forest. The last name, 林, is also this character. The last name. What other examples are there? For example, 格, 田字格, the grid we're using right now is called 田字格, right? So 格 itself is grid. Grid. And here you can see the na is also become a 点 to save space for the second part of the character. Or when you want to write the actual tree, 树, you also need to save space for the right part of the character. So you turn the na into a 点. Okay? But other than being part of other characters, you can also add a stroke. Just like the next character, 和. You add a 撇 on top of 木, a 横撇, so a flat and short. It's different than the one we see in other characters. Even like 木, you have the 撇 that is very diagonal and long, right? going across the character. But here you only need a short stroke and a flat one. 禾 grain. 禾 for food like the wheat, the rice. When it's growing in the field, you can call them 禾苗. And the 禾 you use here is this character. So this character can just be seen as grain. 禾. Okay, so the stroke order first, you write the 撇 on the top, and then you just write 木 normally, just like we practice on the top. 横竖撇捺禾. Okay, let's do it again. First write the 撇 on the top, and then you write 木横竖撇捺. So this is 禾 grains. Other than 木, what are other examples that we might see? Just by adding one or two strokes, you have a brand new character. A good example is 日 the sun, we practiced from earlier week. This character can become many other characters. For example, when you add a flat 撇, just like what you have here in 禾, like this, you have 白 white, the color white, 白. Or when you add the vertical 竖 on the left, this character becomes 旧 old, 旧. Or when you flatten the 日 here, it becomes a new character called 约. Saying something is called 约. But this is not very common nowadays. It's more common in hundreds of years ago, when Chinese is structured differently, just like in Shakespearean, when it's a form of Old English we no longer use today. 约 is also more common in the Old Chinese, where we no longer use today. And then you can add a 竖 in the middle of 约 here. You have 田, the field. You might see in the animation we watched in the earlier weeks. This is 田 field. It's exactly where the grain 禾 is coming from. It's growing in 田地, the field, right? And if you write a vertical stroke in 田, you can make it such that it can go outside of 田 downward. It's called 甲. It can be understood as a shield or armor. 甲 甲壳 is shield of many animals like turtle. Turtle, for example, can be called as 甲鱼. 鱼 is fish, so turtle, 甲鱼 is like a fish with a shield. 盔甲 armor also uses this character 甲. Another example you can use here, after you write the 约, you can write a 竖 弯钩 to go across the character. And this character is called 电. 电, electricity. We wrote 闪 on the top here. You can see here 闪. 闪, shining, right? 电, electricity. So together, 闪电 is lightning. What you see here in a rainy day before the thunder. 闪电, lightning. So these are some of the examples that I showed you when you can add other characters or one or two strokes to make a new character from basic characters like 木, 日, 人, or 门, right? Which shows that it's actually very important to practice the character that doesn't have so many strokes like 门, 日, or 口. Therefore, I hope you guys are taking some time during your week to practice these characters and strokes. And then you can combine them into new characters that also represents the things in your daily life. Okay, so have a good week, and I will see you in the next class.